Good morning, students. Today we are talking about the next topic of this chapter, that is linkage. When I was talking about Mendelian crosses, I told you that Mendel didn't found the process of linkage. That's why Mendel was getting the, you can say, dihybrid ratio 9:3:3:1. And if we are doing a test cross, then the ratio was 1:1:1:1. This ratio is coming when there is no linkage. And if linkage is there, then the ratio is getting changed. Now, what do you understand by linkage? Linkage simply means combine, or you can say joint. Joining between genes that are present on chromosomes. We said that genes are linearly arranged on the chromosomes. This is how the genes are present. Now, on a chromosome, when a chromosome is getting inherited in the gametes after the process of meiosis, all the chromosomes that are, all the genes that are present on the chromosomes are also getting inherited along this chromosome. That means all these genes, they are linked together. They are always getting inherited together. This simply means the process of linkage. When the genes are not going to separate from each other, they are going to inherit all together. This is linkage. Now, linkage depends upon the distance between two genes. Simply, more will be the distance between two genes. There are less chances of linkage, or you can say there are more chances of their separation. And if less distance is present between two genes, more chances of linkage are there, or there are less chances of their separation. Everything about linkage, basically, startingly, Sutton and Boveri were working on linkage. They also found linkage in Lathyrus odoratus, that is sweet pea. But the major theory of linkage was given by Morgan in 1906. Morgan was working on a experimental animal fruit fly. Scientific name is Drosophila melanogaster. Why T.H. Morgan chose Drosophila melanogaster? The reasons were this fruit fly, it is a very small size organism and the lifespan is almost of 2 weeks only. It is very simple, or you can say it is very easy to handle it, and there are more chances of mutations. It can easily be grown on a synthetic media, and mutations can easily be introduced into the Drosophila melanogaster because the number of chromosomes are less. Another thing about Drosophila melanogaster is that most of the linked genes are present in this Drosophila melanogaster. So, study of linkage is very easy with the help of this Drosophila melanogaster. Another thing is, in one mate, it is going to produce large number of progenies. So, for experiment, we are getting large number of progeny. That was also one of the factor. That's why T.H. Morgan chose this fruit fly. Now, the characters, again, they were easily distinguished. Why? Because the male and female fruit fly shows sexual dimorphism. So, there was clear-cut difference between male fruit fly and female fruit fly. So, sexual dimorphism was there. That's why this was one of the more reason for the selection of Drosophila melanogaster. So, on linkage, Morgan worked, another Sutton and Boveri. In 1902, they were also working on linkage, and their experimental plant was sweet pea, or you can say Lathyrus odoratus. So, from here linkage came. Now, this linkage is completely different, or you can say it is somewhere neglecting the Mendel's independent assortment. Independent assortment, we saw that it is talking about two genes. Two genes are going to inherit independently. They are not going to mix up or blend. But here two genes are not inheriting independently. They are always inherited with each other. Let's see some of the examples. How this linkage is happening. Just we are taking a normal example to distinguish between independent assortment, the result of test cross of an independent assortment, and the result of test cross of linkage. See, I am taking two genes. Obviously, when we are considering linkage, we are talking about two genes because linkage always happens between two genes. So, I am taking any of the two genes. Say, I am considering one A and another B. So, these are the parental types. One is homozygous dominant and another one is homozygous recessive. The gametes are going to form. There is formation of F1 progeny, that is heterozygous, and when this F1 progeny is crossed with one of the recessive parent, that is our test cross. So let's see the test cross ratio. If I make a test cross ratio, the simply gametes that are going to form from here are these four gametes. Here it is going to produce only one single type of gamete. So if we see the combination, these are the results of our test cross. We have already talked about test cross. So the test cross of a dihybrid cross is 1:1:1:1 according to Mendel. And these two genes are showing independent assortment. Only then we are able to get this type of test cross. Now, I am assuming that now, earlier these genes were independently assorted. This is the result of independent assortment. If they are going to show linkage, now what is going to happen? If they are going to show linkage, that means I can write down in this way, which simply means homologous chromosome A is present and B is present near to it. That's why they are linked with each other, and on this other homologous chromosome, this is the situation. So these two are always going to combine with each other, link with each other, and these two are always going to link with each other. That's why I am writing in this way. Same thing is happening with the homozygous recessive parent. Now the gametes formed will be, these two type of gametes are formed, and this is our progeny, F1 hybrid. And this F1 hybrid will be showing the characters of the dominant parent. Now if I am performing test cross means cross with recessive parent. Suppose these are the gametes that are going to form from here. There is no separation of genes. They are all together. Here also. And if I combine them, these are the two type of progenies that are present. One is dominant and one is recessive. So this is about the linkage. If two genes are linked to each other, then our test cross ratio is 1:1. And if the two genes are independently assorting, then our test cross ratio is 1:1:1:1. This is the difference between independently assorting genes and the genes which are linked to each other. If we want to, this is how we can illustrate the process of linkage. We will see some of the practical examples of linkage also. If we simply need to understand linkage and strength of linkage. See, we know that in diploid organisms, homologous pair of chromosomes are present. And these homologous pair of chromosomes are carrying genes, and these are of same type. Now, when in one gamete is going to receive, this is one gamete and it is going to receive this chromosome, another gamete is going to receive this chromosome. This simply means along with this chromosome, all the genes that are present on this chromosome are also getting inherited. Same situation is here also. When this chromosome is inherited in this gamete, all the genes that are present over here is also getting inherited. Genes that are present near to each other. Suppose this is the difference. These genes are present very much near to each other. The distance between these two genes is very less. Because of this less difference, there is less chance of separation. Or you can say they are having more stronger linkage. If they are not going to separate from each other, that means they are having a more stronger linkage. There are more chances of them to get inherited combinedly. This is what I am saying. Smaller, or you can say shorter the distance, more will be the linkage. If here is one and I am considering the second gene that is present over here. So they are present on one single chromosome now also, but now the distance has increased. And because of the distance, increase in the distance, now they are having some chances of separation. So more will be the distance, there are less chances of linkage. How? Because of the process of crossing over. In our lower classes also we have learned about crossing over. Crossing over means exchange of DNA segments are taking place between the homologous chromosomes, non-sister chromatids of homologous chromosomes. So if distance is more, at between this distance, the chances of crossing over are also increased. And if chances of crossing over are increased, that means there are chances of their separation. Because of linkage, because of the genes are continuously staying together, they are maintaining the parental types. If they are not going to separate, that means the parents, the genes that are present, the combination of genes that are present in parents, exactly the same combination of genes are going to inherit in their offsprings. But if the chances of linkage are less, the genes are going to separate from each other, that means the chances of recombinants, new combinations are more. So recombinant types are going to form. This is how theory of linkage can be explained. More the linkage, more will be the chances of parental type, and more, or you can say less the linkage, more will be the chances of formation of recombinant type. And when we saw Mendel's dihybrid cross, in Mendel's dihybrid cross, the ratio was 9:3:3:1, and I told you that this 9 and 1 are the parental types which are exactly having the same phenotype as that was present in the parents. But these 6 plants, 3:3 ratio were the recombinant type. Recombinant type, neither of the parent was showing this type of phenotype. So that was possible in independent assortment. Let's make a cross, taking again example of the fruit fly, that how this dihybrid ratio, this phenotypic ratio of dihybrid cross will get changed when we are talking about linked genes. Suppose I am taking again 2 characters. One is grey body and long wings. These are the dominant characters, that's why I am writing capital G and capital L. The second is black body and vestigial wings. These are recessive characters, so I am writing small g and small l. So these are our parental types. We are going to take homozygous dominant and one homozygous recessive. So our cross will be, because I am considering, suppose this is a male, This is a female. I am considering linked genes. That's why I am writing them in this way. These are the parental types. Now gametes are going to form. All the gametes will be of this type. Here also the gametes are going to form. We are getting, by their fertilization, we are getting the male hybrid. We are getting the hybrid, and that is our F1 generation. And this F1 generation is resembling with the dominant one, grey body and long wings. Now when there is breeding that is taking place between the members of F1 generation, what is going to happen? This is how breeding is going to take place between the members of F1 generation. From here we are getting one gamete, because the chromosome is having G and L, both the genes, though they are going to inherit combinedly. The second one be this. So these two type of gametes are going to form from here, and this type of gamete is going to form from here. Now if we see the combinations, this is the first progeny, the second one, next, and the fourth one. So if we notice them, all these three, they are grey body with long wings, and this one is black body with vestigial wings, and the ratio is 3:1. In dihybrid cross, we were getting the ratio 9:3:3:1, where we are getting the parental type and recombinants were there. In linked genes, we are getting the ratio 3:1, and both these are parental types. No recombinants are formed over here. That's what I was saying. When there is linkage, the two genes are not going to separate. They are always giving rise to the parental type, and no recombinants are formed from there. Because recombinants are only possible when genes are going to separate and they are forming new combinations. They are not separating from each other. If they are not going to separate from each other, new combinations are not going to form. So from such type of crosses, all the progeny that are produced, they are completely resembling the parental types and no recombinants are getting produced. Linkage is of two types, means we can not say that always 100% linkage takes place. There are no chance of separation. I told you the strength of linkage depends upon the distance present between the genes. More the distance between the genes, there is more chances of separation, or you can say there is less strength of linkage. Less the distance between the genes, there is more higher strength of linkage. So linkage is of two types. Complete linkage . Complete linkage simply means that two genes are present very near to each other. They are located near to, present very near, and the chances of separation are very less. They are always going to be inherited together. So here all the combinations that are going to formed will be parental type. We are not getting recombinants. This was explained by Morgan, again by performing an experiment in fruit fly. And what was the characters that is selected? The characters that were selected by Morgan was red eye and normal body, these were the dominant characters. The second was purple eye and normal body wings, and purple eye and small wings, or you can say vestigial wings. And this was the recessive character. So a cross was done between these two genes by Morgan, and there he found complete linkage. Means in F2 generation he was getting progeny, and all the progenies were completely of parental type. No recombinants were found. The result was of complete dominance. These genes are linked to each other. So we are going to write down in this way. These are the parental generation. We are getting gametes. Fertilization is going to take place. This is our F1 generation. And when we are doing a fertilization between these members of this F1 generation, this is capital. So the gametes that are going to form from here are and our result will be same. We are only getting two types only. So the ratio is 3:1. Each time we are getting the parental types. There was no, you can say there was no presence of any of the recombinants. We can perform test cross ratio also by crossing it with any of the recessive parent. This was the result that was shown by T.H. Morgan in Drosophila, that was showing complete linkage. That means I can say that the fruit fly that is having red eyes will always have normal wings, because both the characters are associated with each other. So this was the conclusion. Now some of the characters, the genes of that characters are present near to each other, but they are showing some type of crossing over or separation. So recombinants are forming, but the chances of recombinations are very less. And that is the second type of linkage, incomplete linkage. In incomplete linkage was shown by Sutton and Bowry in Lathyrus odoratus. They showed incomplete linkage between blue flowers and long pollen grains, which were the dominant character. And the second one was purple flower and round pollens. That was a recessive character. When they crossed between these type of plants in F2 generation, they found that they are getting recombinants and parental types both, but the ratio, the percentage, the difference between the parental type and recombinant type was huge. They were getting only small amount of recombinants, and most of the plants were parental type. They simply concluded that some separation is taking place because these genes are distantly located from each other, but they are showing linkage also. Otherwise, if they would have not shown linkage and they would have independently assorted, then the percentage of parental type and recombinant type would be 50-50%. When the genes are independently assorting, then there is 50% parental type and 50% recombinant type we are getting in our F2 generation. But when if linkage is there, but that linkage is not complete, we will get more percentage of parental type and very small number of recombinant type. And if complete linkage is there, we are not going to get any of the recombinant type. All the progenies will be of parental type. So let's see this example also by the help of the cross. I am writing them now separately because we know these are not completely showing linkage. They are going to segregate from each other. So always remember, this is the parental generation, the gametes that are going to form, and their F1 generation. This is the F1 generation they are forming. In this F1 generation, when we are doing hybriding experiments, then we will find that again 4 different type of plants are produced. We can write down the gametes over here. Just make a test cross. If we find that, do the test cross over here, we are getting, these are the gametes that are going to form from here. And from here, this is the situation. So the progeny will be and if we see their ratio, we are getting 9:1:1:7. So if we see their ratio, these are the parental types. This ratio was observed by Sutton and Boveri. Out of these are the parental types that are more in number, and the recombinants were there, but these recombinants were extremely small in number. That means linkage was there, but there is some separation also. Some of the recombinants were also formed. So this is how linkage is different from Mendel's independent assortment. Here genes are not assorting independently. They are separating. Now some of the genes, they are present on sex chromosomes. We know that in females, XX is there, and in males, XY is there. Females are having 2 copies of XX chromosome, X chromosome, and males are having only 1 single. Now, these are containing the sex-related genes. Other than sex-related genes, some other genes that are responsible for some of the characters are also present on these chromosomes. X chromosome is a big size chromosome that is containing more number of genes as compared to Y chromosome. Y chromosome is having very least number of genes, and that is basically responsible for the maleness. Means it is carrying the genes responsible for maleness. X chromosome is having various genes that are responsible for characters, different type of characters in our body other than sex related characters. So whenever X chromosome is going to inherit, all the genes that are present on the X chromosome are also going to inherit. And in Drosophila melanogaster, Morgan explained that various genes that are present on X chromosome are also showing linkage. Means they are linked to each other. When X chromosome is getting inherited, then these genes are also getting inherited in the organism. So let's see what was Mendel's. In NC, if you see NCERT, there are 2 crosses that are given in NCERT. I am going to explain one cross. The next cross you have to do by yourself. So I am just explaining one out of 2, one single cross over here. I am explaining the cross in the same way as it is given in NCERT so that you can understand easily. See, in the cross, they selected again 2 characteristics. One characteristic was yellow body and white eyes. And these characteristics were present in a female. And these are recessive characteristics. This was a mutant female. Mutant simply means in the synthetic medium they have introduced mutations inside the fruit fly. Another one was brown body and red eyes. This was the male and it was wild type. Wild type simply means original in which no mutations have been done. So these were the starting materials of their cross to show the process of linkage. Now I am writing down the genes for this yellow body Y and for white eyes W. Now for their dominant character we are writing a plus sign over here. This means the dominant one and this means the recessive one. So with this I am going to initiate the cross. What happens? Suppose this is a female. The female is, and where these genes are present? These genes are present on X chromosome. And Y chromosome is not having any of the gene. The female is having 2 X chromosomes. This is 1 X chromosome. And this is the second X chromosome. Now I am going to show the genes. These 2 genes were present very near to each other. And the female was recessive. This was the situation that was present in female. This was recessive, yellow and white. Now let's talk about the male. We know male is having 1X chromosome. This is the 1X chromosome of male and this is the Y plus, because we know male is dominant, and W plus. Another chromosome is Y. So I am showing over here a Y chromosome. This is a Y chromosome that is not having any of the gene. So these are our starting material for the experiment. If we see the F1 generation that we are getting from here, what will be our F1 generation? Simply gametes will be formed and these gametes are going to fuse with each other. That means this is going to fuse with both of them and this is also going to fuse with both of them. This is how we form the gametes and their combinations. So let's see how different type of males, because here one more thing is there. If this X chromosome, this Y chromosome is combining with the X chromosome, we are going to get male, and if X chromosome is going to combine with the F1 progeny that is going to form from here will be from here 1X chromosome is going to come, and from here also the second X chromosome is going to come, and it is giving rise to female because it is having 2 X chromosomes. So one is this one and second one is this one, Y plus. So a wild type, or you can say a dominant female is produced. Then the male gamete is again going to produce. This X chromosome is coming from here and Y chromosome is coming from here. We are going to get a male. This is the Y chromosome. And this is our genes that are present near to each other. So this is the F1 generation which we are going to have. Now when we are going for the F2 generation, in F2 generation we are showing both parental types and recombinant types. Let's see how parental and recombinant types are getting from here. From crossing between these two, female and male, what type of parental type? First we are discussing about the parental type, and secondly we will discuss about the recombinant type. Now let's talk about the parental types. So if I am going to show the parental type males. So the males are getting one X chromosome from mother and one Y chromosome from father. Suppose I am taking this X chromosome, then it will be YW. They are present near to each other, and this is the Y chromosome. This is one male that is formed in F2. Another will be this with the getting this second X chromosome, Y plus and W plus along with one Y chromosome. So these are the two parental type males that are present. Now let's talk about the female. Female one, this X chromosome is going to fuse with this one time, and second this is going to fuse with this. So this is how we are going to get parental type females. Two X chromosomes. One is, this is the combination, the recessive one, and the second female will be, one of the factor will be dominant one and the second one will be the recessive one. So these are the parental types that are formed. If we find the percentage, almost 97.3% they were parental type, means we can say around 98-99% here were parental type. Only 1 point something percentage of recombinant types were formed. And how the recombinant types were formed? Because of the process of crossing over. Because of crossing over happening between these two, the recombinant types were possible. And what was the result of crossing over? If crossing over is taking place here, then the result which we are getting is this Y positive is going to get here and W remains over here. So this is a new combination. Here also this Y, recessive Y is going to come here and this will be W positive. So this is the result which we are getting after crossing over. And because of this crossing over process, recombinants are possible. How we can say recombinants? If we talk about the phenotype, the positive, those who are positive, they will be the dominant one, or you can say wild type. This is also wild type and this is also wild type, because they are getting positive, and these are recessive. Means yellow body, this is also yellow body, this is also recessive. And parents, we had taken a parents again recessive type and wild type. That's why I am calling them as parental type. Let's see recombinants. And the recombinants, remember, is now formed because of crossing over between these two. This is the result of crossing over. Now what changes are there? Again, let's see the males first. The recombinant males, they are going to get one X chromosome from females, and now this X chromosome will be this. That means there is recombination, and one Y chromosome, because Y chromosome is not carrying any of the gene, so it is not affected. So a recombinant male is going to form, and it is having a recessive W and it is hemizygous. That means it will be white. The second male will have again this X chromosome with a recessive Y and a dominant W, and this is the second Y chromosome. So these two males are now recombinants. These are getting new combinations that are not present in the parents. Exactly same way we are getting the females also. Two females are there, and if we see, this is going to combine with this one. So Y positive W, and this is Y and W. Again Y W positive and this is Y and W. So these are the recombinant type. Only 1% of recombinant type is present. The reason behind this is that the genes are present very near to each other. Less will be the distance, there is less chance of crossing over, and if less chance of crossing over their chances of separation are also less. In the second experiment, you can say in the second cross, in NCERT what they have shown again two genes, but these genes are distant from each other. They have increased the distance, selected two genes which are present on one single chromosome, but the distance between them is more. If distance between them is more, then the end result will, they are also getting parental type and recombinant type, but now the frequency or the number of recombinant type has increased. Because distance is more, the chance of crossing over will also be more. So this is how we can show linkage between the genes and the chances of formation of recombinants. We are going to discuss one more topic other than linkage, that is polygenic inheritance or polygenes, also known as quantitative traits. Traits, or you can say quantitative inheritance is there. See, Mendel talked about qualitative traits. The traits which we discussed in Mendel experiments were qualitative traits. It simply means that a character is controlled by only one single gene, and this one single gene is having two different forms, two different alleles. That means if I am saying capital T is present and the height of the plant is tall, and if I say a heterozygous situation is present and the height of the plant is tall, that means they are equally tall. The one extra T that is present over here, that is not increasing the height in excess, because it is showing complete dominance. These two heights will be equal, means one dominant allele is enough for attaining the height of the plant. So qualitative traits include the traits which are controlled by one single gene, and one dominant allele is responsible, is completely enough for the expression of dominant trait. Such type are qualitative traits. Quantitative traits are those traits, those characters which are controlled by more than one gene. If more than one gene is there, that means more than two alleles are there, and one gene or one dominant allele is not sufficient for the expression of complete trait. There is contribution of each and every allele. If all alleles are dominant, we are properly getting the trait. If out of these only 2 or 3 are dominant, the trait will, you can say, less expressed, more recessive, more less expressed. So we are getting, here we are not getting contrasting characters, two poles, we are getting a wide range of characters. Because of wide range of traits, because of the presence of multiple genes, and each multiple gene is having multiple alleles. In human beings, there are various characters that are controlled by more than one gene. Our skin color, our height, so there are lot more characters, our hair texture, our hair color, these are controlled by more than one gene. So we are not having a clear cut, suppose I am taking the example of skin color. So we are not having two contrasting traits, either white or black. We are having a range of skin colors. Simple reason behind this is because this skin color is controlled by more than one gene, and expression of each of the gene is adding on in the color of the skin. So let's understand by the help of example. When I am taking about the example of skin color. Human skin color is controlled by 3 genes. That means 6 alleles are there. Suppose I write the dominant and recessive situation. This is the dominant situation when all the 3 genes are present in dominant form. This is the recessive situation when all the 3 are present in recessive form. Now, what these three genes are doing? These three genes are responsible for the synthesis of a pigment named as melanin. And melanin is a skin darkening pigment. Simply means if all the three genes are present in dominant form, more melanin will be produced and the individual will be of black colored skin. More the amount of melanin, more darker will be the skin. If I am taking this case, all the three genes are present in recessive form, that means no secretion of melanin, more white will be the skin color. This is simply how we can understand. So this is a black colored, completely black colored skin person, that is a Negro, and this is a white person. If we see, or you can say if mating is done between them, then the type of gametes which we are having, these are the types of gametes we are going to get, and the combination, the progeny that we are getting from these, it will be a intermediate type. The skin color will be intermediate between these two individuals, because if you count the number of dominant alleles, here 6 alleles were dominant, no allele was dominant, here 3 alleles are dominant. So 3 alleles are going to give the skin color somewhat in between. This is how we are getting the first progeny, first F1 generation. If we cross between these type of individuals and we try to get the F2 progeny, in F2 progeny we are going to get a wide range of phenotypes. We are going to get the phenotypes and the ratio will be 1, ratio 6, ratio 15, ratio 20, ratio 15 is to 6 is to 1. On the extreme conditions, we are getting the parental types. Means this individual is white and this individual is black. And the intermediate is in between them, that is a mulatto. When we are moving in this direction, there is some of the alleles that are dominant. So, very light brown color. It is getting somewhat brown. So, it is light brown. This is how we are moving to darker skin color. Then again, we are going to move brown color. And it is very brown color. And finally the black color. So, we are getting in F2 progeny a range of skin colors which are moving from white to black. Now here what is important? It is important to count the number of dominant alleles. More the number of dominant alleles, more darker will be the skin color. So only one gene or one allele is not contributing to the complete character. There is contribution of each and every allele. Small amount of contribution is done by each and every allele. So the trait which we are getting is combination, is because of the compiled expression of all the alleles. Such type of traits are polygenes or polygenetic, or you can say quantitative trait, and their inheritance is known as quantitative inheritance. These traits were first seen by Sir Francis Galton. And when we express these polygenic traits in form of a graph, we used to get a bell-shaped graph. And what happens in this bell-shaped graph? Suppose I am representing like this way. That means the intermediate are present in maximum. The number of intermediates will be maximum in the population, and the number of homozygous, you can say dominant or recessive will be minimum in the population. This is how we can explain the relationship of a polygenic trait. That's all for today.